Hello everyone and welcome to another News Coolum video. I'm about to do another one of my regular 500-mile trips up to Northern California. You know, for a lot of electric vehicle owners, they think that 500 miles is this huge deal, and you know, for me it's just Thursday. I'm leaving out. I'm hoping to get out of here at about 3:15. I'm pretty much charged up and ready to go. I am going to make a couple of weird stops though, because I want to review a couple of charging sites on the way up. So it is actually going to take me out of the way a little bit, unfortunately. So this trip was probably going to take a little bit longer than it would normally. So I'm expecting it to be about 10 hours, which is unfortunate because that does mean I won't be getting in until after midnight. But you know, it's what I do. So let's get ready to head out. We made it here to Buttonwillow. The charge points, they're up, they're working. I mean, I had 50% battery left when I got here. You know, the weather's nice, so we're still averaging 4 miles per kilowatt hour, even though it's basically 80% freeway getting here. I think we're averaging a little over 60 miles an hour average driving speed by the time we got here. So, you know, everything was going well. But like I said, I stopped here early just because I'm going to go ahead and do a quick site review. But normally I would have probably pushed on all the way to Coalinga. There's a very similar charge point station up there. But what this is going to allow me to do is, while I review the site, I'm going to top up a little bit more than I would normally, which is going to let me stretch it all the way up to the Electrify America that's at the Shell station, and then that is a much faster charger for me. It's a much better stop for me, and it's a little bit out of my full battery range if I'm starting in Southern California. So this is going to let me sort of skip the Coalinga charger, but you know, we're already at I think 65% battery, so I'm going to go ahead and do my site review really quick and hit the road. All right, well, we're here charging up at the Electrify America at the Shell station here in Firebaugh, or Firebaugh, however they pronounce it. But we actually made it here with a little bit less energy than I thought we would. And I couldn't tell why, because I knew we didn't have a headwind, but I could feel wind, and my efficiency was a little bit worse than I thought it should have been. And sure enough, yeah, we had about a 5 to 10 mile an hour crosswind, which is just, it's sort of wonky with your efficiency. So pay attention to that when you're driving. Like I said, I thought I was gonna show up with about 10%, maybe 15% at most, but we showed up with 4% battery. So, and I didn't really need to slow down too much. There were just a bunch of semis passing each other on the freeway anyway, so I kind of got stuck in that glut. And then of course here, it took forever for me to get my food, and by the time I got my food, came back, got to the car, we were already to the initial step down. So we're charging up right now just under 40 kilowatts, 37, 38 kilowatts, and the temperatures are also pretty low, and I think that's keeping me from having to run too much battery conditioning. I don't even know that I've heard the fan go off on the Bolt EV's battery cooler. So yeah, I just have to sort of decide where I want to go next, and then base my trip on that. Like I said, I think I kind of already planned for the extra time to go to Tracy. So I'm going to go ahead and just look up how far we have to go and get ready to head out. All right, well, we made it to the Tracy charger. You know, we hit the low battery warning, just the orange bars. We didn't go all the way down. This was way farther off the beaten track than I thought it was. We had to head up Interstate 580 and then cut across, and it's a lot of just side streets going like 45, 50 miles an hour, but we still made it here in just over 6 hours. And that's 320 miles. So we're averaging over 50 miles an hour still. So hopefully we can keep up the pace, because it's still going to be 1 a.m. by the time I finally pull into home. But, you know, I'm charging up right now. I think I want to go to Sacramento International Airport. So I already plugged in the coordinates there, but I want to do a real quick site review, and then we'll head out. All right, well, we're here at the Sacramento International Airport, and you know, we got here at just after 11 o'clock, so it was about 8 hours to essentially go 400 miles. So we are still keeping that 50 mile an hour average trip speed. But this is the leg that I have to sort of look out for, just because this is almost 100 miles with about a 1,500 foot elevation increase, and you know, about 3/4, maybe 80% of the driving is going to be at 70, 75 miles an hour. So I also still don't know where the wind is coming from. It sort of shifts around, and so right now this trip, the efficiency is a little lower than it would be normally, because we had about a 5 to 10, maybe even more than a 10 mile an hour crosswind for most of the way up the Central Valley. So I just basically have to use caution. There are additional chargers along the way, but I just don't want to have to stop, right? So I'm just going to charge up here a little bit longer, probably till I hit 65%, just to be safe. Should be about another 5 to 10 minutes of charging, so we should be getting out of here after about 35 minutes of charging. Yeah, I'll run the heater to get some extra power from the charger and keep the windows defrosted, and get ready to head out. Well, there you go. So about 9 hours and 55 minutes to go 485 miles. given the odd construction of the trip, the charging stops, and the slightly worse efficiency than typical, that about makes sense. So yeah, we're averaging just under 50 miles per hour for the average trip speed, basically about 49, I believe. But again, I made some awkward stops, stopped early to check out Buttonwillow, went out of my way to check out Tracy. So yeah, I think all told, though, this is a pretty typical trip, and I hope that was informative. I hope it maybe inspires some of you to take trips that you might not take otherwise. But what can I say? It's just another trip. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and thank you for watching.